guys. Hey, Gingerlocks mom, how are you? Have you left the hospital yet? I think you said you were leaving at 1, but I don't know what time zone you're in. I can't right now, Peanut. I will in a little bit, okay? Hey, just for you. Yeah, I'm just having one of those days, you know? I cleaned, I listened to Carla this morning, which was cool. Went on her panel a couple of times. Helped her screen share some stuff. And then I cleaned my house. And now I'm sitting here and everything that I used to distract me, I've done. So I was like, why not go live? See what you all are up to. Oh, you have a bad headache, Puss in Boots? I'm sorry. Headaches stink. I had one last night. I ended up taking some ibuprofen and an ice pack and went to bed. But I didn't sleep that great. I got a lot of crap going on. But don't everybody. I think it's the story of everybody's life right now. Between people stressing about their kids going back to school, people stressing about, work, life. Hey, Richard. Everybody's going through it. But I think it's just on how you handle it. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to handle it where I don't, lock myself in a bedroom and make it worse. It's that evil demonic weed called ragweed. Yeah. See, I don't have allergies. I don't get allergies, but my son and my husband have horrible allergies. And I'm so blessed that I don't have allergies. I'm not really allergic to anything. I'm allergic to a couple of meds, but other than that, I'm not allergic to anything. Hey, Remy. Hold on, guys. Oh, okay, I'm back. Sorry, the granddaughter can see me on the porch, so she wants to chit chat. Be careful.
Hey, get down.
Hey, Eagle. But yeah, so I'm blessed. I'm not allergic to anything. I am allergic to a couple of meds, but I'm not allergic to like ragweed, pollen, any of that stuff. But I completely understand what you're saying. How the heck are you a grandma? I am. I am a grandma, and it is a true blessing, that's for sure. I love every minute of it. I know, it's hard to believe, huh? It took me a while for it to sink in that, oh my God, am I old enough to be a grandma? I guess I am. But yeah, so I figured I'd go live and chit chat with you guys. Hey, Miss Michelle. Um, I don't really have a topic or anything to necessarily talk about. I just figured you guys could be a good distraction for me. I'll put the link in the chat if anybody wants to come up and chit chat. If anybody's got anything to talk about, anybody's welcome.
Come back this way.
Of course, it will reject it. I don't get that. Sometimes I put invites. Oh, hold on. My dogs are going to freak. Hold on. I swear it's the story of my life. Every time I want to go live, it seems like everybody shows up at my house. So my dogs freak out. Can you guys still hear them? I have him in the house, but he's in the window right next to me, literally barking his head off. And I don't know why Streamlabs does that. Sometimes I go to post a link and I get YouTube rejected your comment. This is fairly common. Like, it's a link to StreamYards. Why is YouTube rejecting it? It just did it again. Hold on, I'm going to have to go to YouTube and put it in that way. How annoying. Hold on, give me 1 second. In chorus, I can't find me. Let's see if it works this way. See, it works that way. Why won't StreamYards let me? That's so weird. I've never suffered from allergies, but when I go to the mountains the first days, a bitch. I'm allergic to football turf. Really? I've never heard of anybody being allergic to football turf. Hey, Brian Clan. I know people, if you go to like a different state, people have a rough time if they have allergies because it's not the same air. So I know that happens, but I've never heard of being allergic to football turf. Because I would think, are you talking like the fake football turf or the real football turf? Because if it's the real football turf, isn't that just like regular grass? The link isn't showing up, Dory? That's weird. I don't know why it's not working. You guys see it now? I went to out. Oh, have you, Remy, do you have power yet? I don't know if Misdemeanor does. I haven't heard from her today. I know Misdemeanor got her power taken away because her town was a mandatory evacuation. But then they lifted it at like 10 o'clock yesterday morning. They lifted it and told everybody they could go back. But the way she explained it to me is that Houston didn't have a mandatory evacuation, and so Houston is still running. And where in her town, because of the evacuation, they don't have stores open, gas stations open. She can't get ice. She can't get gas. Thank God she did all that before the storm hit because she's so used to, she's lived down south all her life, so she kind of knows what to do. So thank God she had everything. But they said to her that they were taking power away from her town to give to Houston. I've never heard of that before. I don't understand it. But I guess they took it because Houston needs the power more than her town. I thought it was weird, but you still have no power? Do they have a estimated time for you, Remy? What really aggravates me, the gas station at the top of my street has power. Yeah, that's frustrating. That is frustrating when that happens. Yeah, see, I never, here, we don't lose power due to like hurricanes and stuff. We don't have that. But in the winter, we lose power a lot due to the snow being heavy or ice being heavy on the lines, and it ends up knocking out power and stuff. But it takes a lot for me to run to a hotel or something like that. Because it's hard because I have 2 dogs, 2 cats. Usually I send my kids and the baby to, like, if my mom has power, she lives like 2, 3 miles down the road. So I'll send the kids there, and we'll stay home because where my mom lives, she's not allowed to have pets. So me and my husband end up staying home with the pets, and we send the kids. And my mom's like, they're fine, they're dogs. As long as you go feed them and water them, they have fur, they'll keep themselves warm. And I just can't do that because to me, they're part of the family. And I'd be scared to death that they would freeze. Hey, Truth Seeker knows. No problem. I'd rather lose power the winter than the summer. Yeah, see, I definitely would love to lose power in the summer more than winter because winter, if I lose power, that means I have no heat. And sometimes it's cold. It's cold, you know. Usually if we're losing power due to a snowstorm or an ice storm, we're like 30 degrees, 10 degrees, something like that. And because I have gas heat, I end up with no heat, no hot water, nothing. Everything runs. And I don't have a generator, which I really need to get one. I keep saying it every year, and then summer comes and it's like out of sight, out of mind. And then winter comes and I lose power, and it's like, dang, I need a generator. I really need to get one though. We only got rain from Laura, but I'm very familiar with tornadoes, living in Tornado Alley. Yeah, Ocalancy, I bet. I bet you are used to it. See, I would freak out. Like, it's so funny because when we go down south and you guys get like a dusting of snow, everybody panics. Like, the whole state shuts down. My brother lives in Virginia. And one time I was down there and they literally got a dusting. It was like not even an inch. And the whole state shut down. Whole state shut down. And I'm cracking up laughing. I'm like, this is a dusting. But because they're not used to the snow. But for me, I think if I was down there during a tornado, I would be like you guys. I would, like you guys are when you guys get snow. I would freak out because I'm not used to it. My hometown is destroyed. The town over is destroyed. There's no. Oh, Remy, that's horrible. It's true. I live in Virginia for 3 years, and people lose their mind when they get an inch of snow. They really do, Mary. I was cracking up. I mean, it like barely went over the roads, and they had the whole state shut down. I was cracking up. I'm like, you guys got to come up to Mass. We're driving in foot of snow and ice, and we're just trucking along like it's nothing up here. Like, it's so funny to me. Cracks me up. But like I said, if there was a hurricane or a tornado, I'd be freaking out. No deaths, thank God. Oh, good. Good. I'm glad. But it's still horrible. I couldn't imagine, leaving your home for safety because of a hurricane or a tornado or something, and coming back and everything you worked for all your life, all your valuables, all your pictures, everything destroyed. I couldn't even imagine. Like, it breaks my heart when fires happen at people's houses because my mom, she always, when she was a teenager, her house that she had with her parents caught on fire, and they lost everything. Everything. She was at school. She got a phone call. Went down to the principal's office. The principal said she had to come home. She was like 16 years old because her house was on fire. And she's still traumatized to this day. Even though she wasn't in the home, she was still traumatized because they had just the clothes that they went to school with that day. That's all that they had. And like my mom, she has no pictures of her or her siblings or anything like when she was a baby. She has none of those. All her awards, everything was destroyed. And yeah, like the insurance covered it, but they don't cover valuable, memorabilia. They just don't, it doesn't cover that. Yes, they were able to, move into a home and everything like that. And a lot of people donated to them back then, and they got all the furniture and dishes and stuff, but you don't get that stuff back. Yeah, the keepsakes, you just don't get it back. And that's what bothers me the most for people. It breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. So my heart goes out to the people from your town, Remy, that lost everything. I couldn't even imagine. I have relatives in Wisconsin and Arizona. We all have very different fears and challenges between these three places. Oh, Ash, you live in Tornado Valley too, huh, Allie? I don't know how you guys do it. I would be, but you guys say, how do you guys live up north and deal with the snow? So, but I don't know. I would be freaked out all the time. Hey, Brian. I'm just starting to worry about how we're going to eat. We don't have a grill. I'm about to be Spider Remy and climb up my in-laws' deck, grab their charcoal grill. Are your in-laws not around where you can't ask them? And how far is it? Like, I know probably your town don't have power, but what's the closest town to having power? How far would you have to travel? I know the one year it was, not this year, the year before, we had an ice storm in October. It was during Halloween, and we literally lost power for a week. We had no power for a whole week. And I had just gone grocery shopping, and I was literally putting gallons of milk in the backyard in snowbanks, trying to keep it cold and stuff like that. But we still lost so much food, so much food. That's why I say I need a generator. Hey, True Helper. Oh, 20 to 30 miles. That stinks. Well, hopefully they can give you at least an estimate. Hopefully it won't be much longer. Hey, Casey. Remy, you live like smack dab where you can get everything though, huh? Or was this Laura storm like a fluke? I mean, not that you need to dox yourself, but you're saying how you had snow, and then you're saying how you're without power due to Laura. It seems like you're like smack dab in the middle where you can get everything. Not that, like I said, not that I want you to dox yourself. Yes, in 99. It is beautiful when we have ice storms here or the first snowfall. It is beautiful. I mean, but I would love to enjoy it in pictures instead of shoveling or going out to clean off my car and it's 10 degrees out or negative, you know. I've been talking to my husband, trying to talk my husband into it for years to move down south. But he used to live in Florida when he was a kid and stuff, and he does not, he loves up here. He loves up north. And I'm like, oh, I can't take it. I can do summer, I can do fall, I can do spring. But winter comes, I want to go. So I told him, fine, we won't move down south, but when you retire, we're not living here in the winter. I can't do it. It's too cold and too depressing. I mean, it's pretty and stuff, but with my health issues and stuff, I'm like trapped in my house. I feel like how you guys feel right now with the corona. You know, nobody had a summer this year. You know, nobody went on vacation. Nobody was able to leave their house and do things that they enjoy doing in the summer. That's how I feel in the winter. There's nothing to do. Yeah, you know, and with my health issues, it's hard on my body in the winter. The cold just hurts my bones way too much. Oh, yes, today is Ash's birthday. I saw that today. Happy birthday, Ash. You 25 today? I hope you're doing something special and fun for your birthday instead of maybe somebody will come and mow your roof or something for you for your birthday. Who knows? Mel Mel's birthday's today too? I just saw that. I sang happy birthday to Mel Mel. Dang it, I'm trying to fly under the radar. You know, around here, nothing gets past nobody. Not in this community. Nobody can ever fly under the radar. Not here. Oh, Mel Mel's, and she's live, isn't she? I think she is live. Right before I went live, I kind of looked to see who was live. Because I always do that. I always try to see who's live. Because I hate going live on top of somebody else. Um, but I was talking to friends last night because, you know, I really want to build up my channel. I want to get to a thousand. I want to be able to have a community post and stuff. And I was talking to them that, you know, I want to come up with a schedule because it seems like everybody that has a schedule does really well with their channel. And I was thinking that if I do a schedule, I can do like I don't know, like a snapped Monday, and I could talk about like cases that people just snap. I could do maybe I don't know, something like that, like a snapped and then like an unsolved Friday or something like that. So you guys kind of know what I'm going to do. And I was telling them the other thing is I don't have a schedule, but the other thing I've been doing is I do look to see who's live because I don't want to jump on somebody, you know, somebody else's live. I don't want to take away from them. And a lot of us have the same subs, so then the subs are bouncing back and forth. So I really try not to. And they told me, they're like, you know, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you if you're constantly doing that. You just have to make a schedule that works for you and stick with it. And if somebody goes live at the same time you do, it's okay. That sounds like a great idea. I love crime and trials, right, Mary? I was thinking like I could do like one day I could do like a snapped, one day I could do like an unsolved, and maybe one day I could do like a serial or something, like a serial killer or something. But I was also thinking of maybe starting to do videos also because I do enjoy doing lives about crime. I really do. I know a lot of people that do videos instead, but I like the interaction. I like that you guys get to put your inputs in and stuff like that. But I also think it will help me, like when I find a case that really there isn't much to it, I could do those instead of going live because then I go live and 20 minutes later, the case is over because there's not much to the case, but it's an interesting case. And I was thinking those days I could do videos. Or on the days that I'm not live, I could do videos. I don't know. I got to figure it out. But the hardest part I find doing true crime is the research. It takes a lot. A lot of people don't realize when you're not doing crime, but you're watching it. That's what takes the most time is the research part. And that's the part that kind of stinks, but I was thinking if I do a schedule, I would be more apt to not overwhelm myself with too many cases that I'm trying to research and trying to get right for you guys. I don't know. I've been throwing out ideas to myself a lot the last couple of days. It does take a lot to research. And I mean, my friends have offered to help me research. They're like, we're not doing much. We would be willing to help you research. And even though I love that they want to help me and I love that they're willing to help me, I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I should be doing it. But help doesn't hurt. So I don't know. I've been like thinking and planning and stuff. I know that I talked to Ems last night and she wants to do a panel next week. And I'm going to come up on her panel and we're going to try to promote my channel. I don't know if everybody was in Carla's today, but on Wednesdays, because Carla goes live Monday through Friday, as a lot of you know, and she does the morning. She just has done it for 10 months now, and everybody enjoys it. But she was talking how, she's not getting some stuff done, and that she would like to have a break, but she don't want to let down her subscribers and stuff. So I had offered, I said, well, I could do the day that you want to break from. And she was like, well, I was thinking a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So we picked Wednesday. So Wednesday morning, I'm going to go live instead of her. And I'm going to be on my channel. She'll still come up on panel, and Misdemeanor will still come up on panel and stuff. But that way, Carla can jump off if she needs to, or if she just feels like laying in bed and chit-chatting. It's different than running a channel. So that way she could relax and stuff. And we're going to still do it the same exact time that she does it, the 7:45. And I'm still going to keep it exactly how she does it, where everybody just comes in and talks. But I thought that would be cool. And then Carla said, like, on Wednesdays, she would go live in the afternoon or later at night. But she was actually happy for me to offer that because, like she says, she knows a lot of her subs look forward to her in the morning. And she didn't want to, let you guys down. So she was pretty excited that I offered to help and said, I'll do Wednesdays. That way they still have a place to go in the morning when they're getting ready for work or driving to work or whatever. Which one? I missed what Remy said. A current case that's high profile is Martha Moxley. Yes, it's from the late 70s, but her alleged killer is out due to getting a new trial. Really? I haven't heard about that case. I haven't heard about the Moxley case. The name sounds familiar, but I can't think of. Moxley definitely sounds familiar. You have a lot of true crime too, Mojo? Well, Mojo, in my about section, if you have a case that you really would like me to look into, in my about section is my email. You can always email me. No one will watch true crime fluff. You must know more than your audience. Research is vital to success. Absolutely, Black Dahlia. It is. It is vital because nobody wants to have to sit there and correct you when you're doing a true crime live. And I've seen that with a certain creator where the chat is, you know, correcting because she didn't do the research well. So I really, when I do it, I really try to research it correctly and I try not to rush so I'm getting it right. Because how silly would it be to do a live about a crime and get it all wrong? That would be embarrassing, I would think. I know it too well, but I'm old, embedded in that era. It involves the Kennedy clan. Oh, no kidding. Is that the one? Is that the one where it was the teenage girl? I know there was another one with the Kennedys, but I think it was like a cousin or something. She ended up being at a party and she ended up walking home and getting beat to death, and they found her in the yard, and it ended up being a couple of brothers that were well off and their family was well off and rich, and they couldn't figure out which brother it was. That's the one. That's what I thought. I thought yes, that was a very interesting case because they didn't know which brother. Martha. Yes, Martha Moxley. Yep. I know. Yep. Now I know what case. So the brother is out and getting a new trial. That was a tough case for them because they really didn't know which brother did it. Michael Schenkel. Yes. Yep. In Greenwich, Connecticut. Yeah. At the golf course was shoved through her neck. They thought her hair was red. It was blonde. Red from the blood. Yep. And it was over jealousy too, wasn't it? Because one of the brothers liked her and wanted to date her, but she liked the other brother. And one said that he left with the cousins and stuff to go watch a movie. The Tommy and Michael, yeah. Michael is getting a new trial. Tommy lives in Mass. They also looked at the tutor. Yes, they did. They did look at the tutor. Ken Livingston, who also lives in Mass. Yep, now I remember that case. I watched it. I think it was on the ID channel or something. I had watched about that case. Yes, Michael is the one that used to peep at her through the trees. He had a fetish for her. He really liked her, but she was more into Tommy, I believe, than Michael. And they thought that Michael killed her due to jealousy. Because she was sitting that night, she was sitting in the car with Tommy. And they were flirting and stuff. And Michael got into the car. And he was upset. Because she was sitting next to Tommy, I believe. Hey, hanging with Mr. J. Always an issue when two people are some way implicated. If you can't exclude either one, no one's guilty. Yikes. Yeah. So when does that trial start, Remy? That might be an interesting trial to watch. If it's going to be publicized again. Because I was thinking maybe during the day I could just run it and we could watch the trial And then at night, I could go live and we could talk about it. I know a lot of people, for me in particular, I like watching it, but I couldn't watch it all day. But I could play it. I could set it up where it plays all day and I could still get my stuff done. And I could take notes and stuff while I'm listening and getting stuff done. And then at night, we could discuss it. October 30th. Oh, no date on the trial? This is serious money and power. Absolutely, it's serious money and power. I just wonder if they're going to make it a public trial. The worst trial I watched was Timothy Jones. Now, what was that case about, Mary? That name sounds familiar too, but I can't think of what case it might be, but that name sounds familiar. Samara, you could not sit through that one. Is Timothy Jones the one with the kids? The 4 kids? And he murdered all of them? Is that trial? But wasn't he mentally ill? Is that the trial I'm thinking of? I could be wrong. Yes, I was right. Yes, he killed his children and drove around with them in the car. He put them in plastic bags. Yep, that one I couldn't watch either. Nope. I couldn't watch it either. I watched like a couple of days of it, and that was all I could do. Court should make more courtrooms live since the public has the right to view, and it's made impossible with this pandemic. Yes. I used to love when Court TV always did, trials. Back in the day, you would turn on Court TV and they were always doing some sort of trial. But they don't do it as much anymore. Yeah, the insanity defense did not work. Yeah. Nope. It didn't. I don't think he was crazy. I didn't believe that from day one. It was I felt like he thought it out. I don't think it was a spur of the moment thing. I think he thought it out. I don't think he was insane at all. I loved Court TV. Yeah. I would sit there and turn on Court TV and just listen to whatever trial that was going on and clean my house and get all my stuff done and everything. But they don't do it like that anymore. He was not crazy and hooked on synthetic weed. Well, synthetic weed definitely makes you crazy from what I heard. Because it's like a potpourri. That synthetic weed, it's like the potpourri you put in to make your house smell good. And I guess it makes you hallucinate and stuff, from what I've heard. I heard that it really makes you crazy. And they say, like, when you don't have it, it makes you I don't know, the addiction part of it. Thank God I just don't know anybody that's ever done it, so I couldn't ask them, but that's what I've read and heard. And a lot of people do it, which is sad, and kids do it, which is sad, is because it doesn't come up in a drug test. So, like, if their parents ever drug test them, and it's cheaper. I watched a documentary over the synthetic weed and how people were literally looking like zombies, walking the streets and stuff. And they said a majority of them that they interviewed said that they did it because it wouldn't come up in a drug test. So they could work and it would pass. And then there was teenagers, and they said that their parents would drug test them. And when they drug test them, it didn't come up in the drug test. But really, I mean, I couldn't imagine being an out of body. It looks like it's like an out of body experience. I wouldn't want to sit there and look like a zombie. Like the videos they showed, I can't even imagine. I felt like I was in Walking Dead. Between the Casey Anthony case and the lady that drowned her kids, Susan, I forgot her last name. Susan Smith. Yes, Mr. J. These cases get crazy. They do. Yeah, Susan Smith drowned her kids, buckled in, in their car seats, strapped in, and then tried to say a colored man kidnapped, or Andrea Yates. Yeah, that one too. Andrea Yates drowned her kids in the tub. Yeah, but Susan Smith, she kept her kids in the car seats and rolled it into the lake and let them drown. And then tried to say somebody hijacked her, and it was all a lie. Andrea Yates, though, I really felt like Andrea Yates, I know a lot of people probably won't agree with me, but I felt like her and her family tried so hard to get her help. And I think they got it right when they put her in a mental institution for the rest of her life, Well, not for the rest of her life, but, instead of in jail. Because I really feel like they tried everything. But the only thing I didn't agree with is I don't think she should have been left alone with the children. Especially with her background and how she flips so easily. I understand her husband had to work, and I get that. But I feel like they should have at least had somebody there helping her. Her husband failed her, though. Yeah, I think so. I was sympathetic for Yates too. I wasn't for her husband. No. I think she was begging for help, and he did very minimal, and I think he put a lot on her. Like I said, I think I get that he had to work, but I feel like he could have got somebody in there to help her. And I don't think that ever would have happened if somebody was in there to help her. He picked and chose when people came in and helped her. Yeah, he did fail her. But I truly believe they got it right. I definitely think that she was mentally ill. She was the true definition of mentally ill. That postpartum was, true. I think that she loved her children. I really do. I just think mental illness, and then they were playing with her meds all the time. She had to have been in a roller coaster. They were giving her meds, taking away meds, trying this med, trying that med. I looked into what was going on with the Yates these days. She has never shown any interest in leaving the hospital setting. No, from what I've looked into, that she's still there and she's doing well, from what I read, but I read the same thing, that she has no interest in leaving the hospital. He could have stayed off of her too when she suffered postpartum from the boys before Mary. Yes, I agree, Samara. Yeah, she definitely had postpartum. For sure, Mary. And it is a horrible thing. I mean, I was lucky enough that I didn't have it. My daughter, when she had my granddaughter, she had it, but she didn't have it severe. But she definitely had postpartum after my granddaughter was born. But she recognized it and addressed it and got help for it, and she's great now. Um, but she never went into like the postpartum psychosis, right? She just had postpartum, not the psychosis part. And I felt so bad for her because, from my daughter's point of view, the way she explained it to me, it's like, I love my daughter. I love my daughter, but I don't love my daughter, and I don't think I can love my daughter. It was really tough to listen to as her mom because when I had my children, I instantly loved them. The moment I saw their face, the moment I found out I was pregnant, I was completely in love. And to sit there as her mom and me looking at my granddaughter and completely in love with her, I really had to step out of my own thought process and really try to put myself in her shoes and try to understand. Like, I knew she loved her daughter, but it was different. She was scared to love her daughter, or she felt like she wasn't going to do right, but it was tough. So we instantly went back to her doctor before her 6-week checkup, and she told them what she was thinking and what she was feeling, and they got her on some meds, and she did counseling for a little, and now, I mean, she's the best mom there is. I couldn't be any more proud of my daughter. She is an amazing mother, but I knew from watching her, postpartum is a real thing. It really is. Yeah, she did. She just had all these fears, you know? She had these fears, and like she loved her daughter, but she didn't like her daughter. It was heartbreaking to hear her. She's like, I love her, but I don't like her. I and it was hard, and I was like, how can you say that? How can you not love her? She's a baby, she's innocent. She's like, Mom, you just don't understand. And I'm like, I don't, but I don't think it's a healthy thought that you're having. And I think that you need to contact your doctor and stuff. And I just tried to be there, and I just tried to listen, and I tried to be supportive. And I was blessed enough that when the baby was born, they came back to my house. So I was here, so I was able to help her, where a lot of people don't get that. She was dealing with postpartum. Most people that deal with postpartum, their husbands go back to work, their family ends up, coming in and seeing the baby, and then they go back to their lives. And then all of a sudden, this woman is having postpartum, and she's all by herself, and she's left to deal with this baby 24/7. So my daughter definitely had the better outcome because I was here 24/7, and I was able to help her. And thank God the postpartum didn't last long. And I think it's because she got the help right away. But I heard sometimes postpartum can last months. Hey, Smokey P. It's funny you say that, Olga Nancy, because my daughter was the same way. She never she never was a kid person. She never babysat, in her teenage years. She never played with dolls. She never thought babies were cute. She thought they were, annoying. Like she don't get me wrong, she thought they were it's hard to explain, but she never was one of those typical kids that I want to babysit, and babies are so cute, and I want tons of babies. My daughter, till the time she got pregnant with my granddaughter, I thought she was going to be the kid that never gave me grandchildren, because through all her teenage years and everything, she always said, I don't want children. I don't want children. I don't want kids. And then she ended up getting pregnant with my granddaughter, and then she ended up with that postpartum. But now, like I said, you would have never known that she never wanted kids, because to watch her now with my granddaughter who's 2, it's amazing to watch. Amazing. Yours lasted 6 months, even with meds and help. But I did manage to care for the little one and baby. I was relieved when it was over. I bet. She was even relieved when it was over. She's like, Mom, how could I ever have thought that way of her? And I said, well, I don't think it was that you really thought that way. I think your hormones were out of balance and stuff. And she's like, I feel horrible that I ever thought that. I was gonna just fine with my mom said, we want to build a swimming pool. Are we going to give us grandkids? A week later, knocked up. That's funny. That's funny, Smokey. I'll give you a swimming pool if you give me a grandkid. It does. I don't know if, I mean, it would be, I wonder if Andrea Yates will ever get out. I don't think she ever will, because I'm almost positive that if they declare her sane enough to go out, does she get to just leave, or is she in there for life? Or do they have to re I don't know. I don't know how that works. Because I wouldn't think she would have to go to jail after, because some people they get told that they get found guilty by reasonable insanity, but then they go to the hospital, they get the treatment, but then they get moved to jail once they get their treatment. I don't think she wants out either, but I'm almost positive they made it so she's in there even if she wanted out. I think she's in there for life. I don't remember. It was so long ago. I don't know. Because it would be horrible for her to, you know, be in the mental hospital this long and finally, everybody knows that it was a horrible tragedy. But to have her be capable of coming out and then having to go to jail for the rest of her life. You have a good weekend too, Mojo. My weekend's gonna stink. We're getting the rest of Laura. It's gonna rain all day tomorrow and all day Sunday. We have like 90% chance of rain. So that means it's gonna rain all weekend. It stinks. Because I wanted to do something this weekend. I don't know what. Last weekend I was bored out of my mind all weekend long. Where to go, nothing to do. We took the dogs for a walk, but that was it. So I had told my husband last weekend that this weekend I want to do something. Maybe we can go kayaking or go fishing with the kayaks or something. I want to do something because fall's coming, winter's coming. I want to, get the last hurrah out, of summer fun before fall and winter comes. But it's going to rain. You had snow in New York up until yeah. I do read Samara. But that's funny. I only read true crime or real life. You should see my bookshelf. I have like the Cleveland murders. Cleveland murders. Cleveland, where the girls were held captive. I got the Scott Peterson's book. I have uh, the Patriots player. I read that book. Yeah, I do all true crime when I read. I do think she could be declared well enough to leave. The word is the more sanity she regains, the more guilt overwhelms her. She stays somewhat sedated from that reality. How heartbreaking is that? That's gotta be heartbreaking. Because, like I said, I never not doubted that she loved her children. Yes, I loved Michelle's book. Yep. And then another one I have a series of is the boy called It. Have you guys ever read that series? That was a horrible story too. That series broke my heart. I'm trying to think of all the books I have, but all of them are true crime. You'll have to. Have you read All Be Gone in the Dark, Golden State Killer, or Billy Jensen's book? Or do you listen to my favorite? I do listen to my favorite murder podcast. I do listen to them, and I also got the Audible that Stephanie Harlow promotes. I got that, um, and I love the Audible. I love it because, like, when I'm cleaning and stuff, and that's where I heard about the mother of the Columbine shooter, where um, Save Robbie and his friend are going tonight, I believe. I heard her book through the audio, and that was an amazing story too. But I love that audio. Hey, Doll Factory. I did, but I haven't read those other two books. But I do watch that podcast. You don't think you've read that one, The Boy Called It? You'll have to read it. It's based on a true story. He was abused horribly, horribly, horribly. And it's like three books or four books. I forgot. It's either three or four. I would have to go inside and look. But it's definitely based on a true story, and it was a lot of torture and abuse. And it's his book too. He wrote it based on his experience and stuff. It's actually an excellent book. Let me look real quick while you guys are here. Hold on. Amazon. I think Amazon sells it. It's an actual. It was made a long time, not a couple of years ago, maybe longer. The book called. Here it is. Let me screen share it with you guys so you know what to look for. It's right here. A child called it One Child's Courage to Survive. And then it goes to a foster child searches for the love of a family. But here's all four of them right here. A Man Named David. That's all 4 of them right here. So there is 4. But the first one is A Child Called It. It's an amazing book. And like I said, it's based on his life. I don't know. I did not know he was deceased now, Samara. Resilience is an amazing thing. I wish we knew how to encourage it because some survive abuse while others destroy it. I totally agree, Uncle Lancy. It is hard. It was hard to read. It will make you cry. It will make you angry. There was many times that I had to put it down and take a couple of days off just to hear his story. A motorcycle accident. Oh, I did not know that. That's so sad. But it's probably on Kindle. Yeah, you probably can find it on Kindle, and you probably can find it on Audibles. You can pretty much find it anywhere. You can even find it in the library. It's an actual pretty popular book. I'm shocked none of you guys have read it. It's a great. I'm trying to think what other books I have in my house. I'll have to do a live on it. Because like I said, all my books are all true crime. Because I love to read. I read at like night. I love it. I'll lay in bed and just read. Sometimes you get a good book and you just can't put it down and you read it in a day or 2. You've never heard about it. Yeah, it's a true story. It's horrible. I won't tell you too much. I'll let you read it, but he definitely fought for his life. And he made himself, like Uncle Nancy said, it can either destroy you or you survive it. And he definitely did not let it destroy him. Another good book. Hold on. Let me look for a second. Hold on. I just pulled up 2 that I also enjoyed. That I enjoyed reading. I don't know if any of you guys have read these ones, but Freedom by J.C. Dugard. She was the one that was held captive in the backyard and had 2 kids by her captor. This is a really, and she wrote this book. This is another really good book. And the other one that was heartbreaking to read, but a really good book, was The Newtown. This is about the school. This is another really good book that I read. I have so many books in there. So many. But yeah. But the J.C. Dugard one was really good to read. And The Newtown. Like I said, The Newtown was heartbreaking to read. makes me think now with winter coming, I gotta, order some more books. I'm gonna have to go on Amazon and look because I need a new book to read. I absolutely need a new one. Or I might go on Audible. I like reading books. I like having them in my hand and reading them, but um I also like the Audible, like when I'm busy. Did you read the Michelle? I did read the Michelle Knight book. I have hers, and I have the other girl. I forgot her name. The one that actually escaped. I have her book too, because she wrote a book as well, and I read that one. I have those in my room too. Barnes and Nobles is my best friend. I love going to that store. My husband was from a severely dysfunctional family. He remembers being little and deciding he needed out because he deserved better, and he survived and thrived. Oh, Glancy. Has he ever thought, some story, I bet you he could write a good book. It's heartbreaking as it is, but he could show that people can survive. And you can get through anything if you have the willpower and the strength. Because, that's what they try to take away from you, is that willpower and that strength. They try to not only abuse you, but they try to take the willpower away. And I know that because of domestic violence. I was in a domestic violence situation for 5 years with my daughter's father. And I thought that I was never going to get out. I thought that he would kill me before I got out. But my strength, and, one day I just picked up and walked out the door, and I never looked back. And he, stalked me for a long, long time and would break into my house in the middle of the night. And it was a tough road. And I was young, I was a teen mom, but I was dealing with domestic violence on top of being a teen mom, and I never thought I would survive it. But now I'm stronger for it. It was a tough road, it was a scary road, but I'm definitely stronger because of it. Yeah, I don't talk about it much. I did talk about it. Carla did a domestic violence live maybe a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. And I went up on panel and I told my story. But I don't usually talk about it too much. But yeah, it was it was tough. And he literally made me feel like nobody would want me, that I was stupid, that I would never amount to anything. The abusers definitely, not only do they abuse you physically, but they abuse you mentally. They they make you feel like there's nobody better but them, and that you deserve everything you get. When they're beating the crap out of you or tying you up and throwing you in a closet for 3 days or holding a knife to your throat, threatening to slit your throat. Like, I could go on, but, you know, he always made it like it was my fault. I was the reason because I didn't do something right. I didn't wash a dish right, or I didn't have a cigarette for him, or I didn't, he never worked and I always worked, and I was never bringing home enough money for him to spend. And like when he cheated on me, it was because I was a piece of crap and he was allowed to do that, and I needed to just deal with it. And mental abuse is the worst crime, Canary. I felt, to me, and I know everybody can feel differently, but I'll speak for me, the bruise is healed. You know, the pain from getting hit goes away. But the mental never, it took a long time, and I'm still struggling with that. And I have not been with that man in 20, it's been, let me see. I left him when my daughter was 1. So I have not been with him in 21 years. 22 years. She's 23. She just turned 23. So 22 years I have not been with him, and I still struggle. It's something that never goes away. I'm better for it. And I mean, when I met my husband when my daughter was 2, and it was hard to get in a relationship with him because anytime we fought, I was ready to defend myself, you know? I was hitting him, or I was, running away, or I was hiding, or whatever. And he was like, you don't have to be that way. I'm not going to do that to you. But it was hard. It was hard to know what it felt like to be in a normal relationship, and that we could have disagreements, and that it was okay to have disagreements. We might not talk for the day, or whatever, or we might argue for a minute and then be fine 5 minutes later. I didn't know how to react to that when I was with my husband. It took a long time where he was like, it's okay to disagree. It's not like, I always was waiting for the shoe to drop, so to speak. Oh, Mr. J, I missed it. What book? The author of that book sent it to me. I've been wanting to do a review of that book. I didn't see which book. Let me scroll up and see. I have a book someone sent me some time ago called After the Storm by Ava St. Pierre. It's a book of how she dealt with mental illness. Oh, that would be an interesting book. Can you find that book on Amazon or anything, Mr. J? It's true, Mary. Yeah. That is how you feel when you meet a real man. I didn't know what to do, and I felt like I walked all over him at first because I was so not used to a man respecting me and allowing me to have freedom. I didn't know what freedom was, I went from being a teenager to being pregnant to being in a domestic violence situation, and then I met who I'm with now, my husband, and he respected me for me, and I didn't I was allowed to be friends with whoever I wanted to be with. I could go out and not worry about him following me or anything like that. So I felt like when I got with him, I had all this freedom, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I handled it in a negative way. Like, I took advantage of his niceness because I didn't know how to accept it. I didn't know how to embrace it and respect it. I I did the opposite, and I walked all over him, and I took advantage, and I ran, and I could have definitely destroyed my marriage by doing that, but he understood what I went through, and he said, it was so sweet. He said I was worth fighting for, and I was worth taking the time to figure it out. And it took a couple of years for us to figure it out, and for me to realize I'm treating him like crap because that's all I knew. And now he was definitely my saving grace. He was definitely my hero. He definitely he saved me. And I couldn't be more blessed with the husband I have today. And now with my health issues and not being able to work and provide for my family, I struggle with that. I struggle with not being able to, because I worked all until I got hurt. I was a CNA. I loved my job. I worked full time. We did it together. And now that I'm hurt and now I'm waiting on disability, now we're dealing with just his income, trying to raise me, him, my son, my daughter, my granddaughter on his income. And it breaks my heart because I can't contribute. Because I'm waiting on disability, which takes forever. But he always tells me, we'll get through it. And I will do what I have to do for my family. But I struggle with that. I struggle that I don't feel like I'm helping my family. But he says he says I do, because I'm here and I take care of the bills and I take care of the kids and I take care of the house. He's like, that's the same for me. But it just hurts me, he works so many hours and we struggle all the time, and I don't want him to feel like that his work goes unnoticed, I guess you would say. But I am blessed. I have an amazing man in my life. He still tries to interfere. See, that's the blessing that I have. My daughter's father interfered for a long time in my life. Even when I was with my husband and I was pregnant with our son, he would call all hours of the night and threaten and say he was going to burn down our house and blah, blah, blah. He would call my family members in the middle of the night. He would call my friends. We literally had to move out of town because he was stalking my home and stuff. But I have to say now it's been probably 16 years that he has not bothered me. And I'm blessed for that. But I do hear about him from time to time. And I feel bad for the women he has had in his life because he has not changed. He's just changed the woman, but he abuses every woman he's with. Every single one. He has not learned nothing. But when it was just hard for my daughter, I mean, when she was younger, she didn't understand it. But now that she's older, she does understand it. And because he couldn't have me, he didn't want her. And that was hard. It's hard for her to understand that, because when I chose to walk out that door and not look back, he could have still been a dad. I never denied him that right, but he chose that he didn't want to be a dad. Why? Because he couldn't have me. And there's where my husband comes in yet again as the blessing that he is, because that is my daughter's father. My daughter has called him dad since she was 2. To her, that is her dad. Even though he didn't biologically make her, that's her father. And I'm always so thankful for that, because I don't know if something would have went differently for her if she didn't have that male role model. And my husband stepped up, and he always tells her, she made him a book for Father's Day one year, and he still has it. But he always told my daughter, your brothers I made. I made your brothers, but I chose to be your dad. So you're special. You're special because I picked you to be my daughter. With your brother, I could have had a daughter or I could have had a son. Yes, I chose to create them, but I was getting what I want, either one. But for you, I picked you. I picked you to be my daughter. And she loves that when he says that to her. I mean, he hasn't said it because she's 23 now and a mom of her own. It's weird for her. But she always says, I'm the special one because dad chose me. And I love that. Mr. J, thanks. But you know what? It actually made me stronger. Yeah, it sucked at that time. It sucked to go through what I went through. And I thought I would never get out of it. And I never, I felt horrible about myself. But it's definitely made me stronger. It really has. And it makes me look at things differently in life. And I don't regret. A lot of sometimes people regret their past. I've never regretted my past. My past has made me who I am today. So like people say, oh, if you could go back, would you change anything? Well, maybe, but I wouldn't because I wouldn't have my daughter. Like my daughter was the only blessing I got out of that relationship. And if I didn't have that relationship, I wouldn't have. Jenna, so does your daughter talk to her dad? No. My daughter has not spoken to her dad since she was 5 years old, and she's 23. And he lives 20 minutes from us. But that was her choice. And his choice. I never was a mom that spoke bad to my daughter about her father. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. I felt like she needed to find out who he was for herself. So if he did see her, I always made sure it was a safe environment, that somebody was around, like he wasn't allowed to take her by himself, blah, blah, blah. I always made it a safe environment, and he saw her for a little while from like 2 to 5, but after he realized I was not coming back and I was getting married and there was no chance for us, he stopped seeing my daughter. And then he went on to have 3 other children with 3 other women, and he's not in their lives either. So he has 4 children and he's not in any of their lives. Not one. But my daughter, like I said, I never talked ill about him in front of her. I mean, of course, behind closed doors, when I was talking to my husband or stuff, yeah, I had my own things to say. But in front of her, I always kept that was her father, and I had to respect that. And for her, she needed to figure out what he was about and everything, and now she knows. And now it's her choice, where from 5 to 18 it wasn't her choice. He didn't want to see her. He didn't, she tried reaching out to him and he would make excuses, and he was in and out of jail. He was in and out of jail all the time for domestic violence, blah, blah, blah. And then, now that she has a daughter of her own and everything, it's her choice. She wants nothing to do with him. He's never even met his granddaughter. I don't even think he knows he has a granddaughter. And how horrible is that? But he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to know. She has a great grandfather. She don't. But I would never deny my daughter. If my daughter came to me today and said, I'm going to go see my dad, I want him to meet my daughter, I would say, I would be here for you when you get back, and I hope everything goes well. I would never try to talk her out of it. But yeah. And like I said, I could get into that story more one day because there's a lot of things I'm leaving out. But like I said, it's just made me stronger. And I'm blessed for the life I have now. You know? But my husband is going to be home in like 10 minutes, and my dogs are going to go nuts because my dogs love it when Dad comes home. So I'm going to get off. Thank you guys for being my distraction today. I was having a tough day, and you guys just made me feel better. And I want to thank you guys for that. Just being in here chit-chatting with me about all the different kinds of things, you don't realize how much that helps somebody sometimes. Oh, thank you, Crime Canary. Thank you, Mary. Ah, Eagle, I love you, girl. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. If Remy's still in here, I hope she gets her power back. I hope Miss Demeanor gets her power back. Thanks, Austin. So if you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you could hit the likes or the dislikes, either one, doesn't matter. Thank you, Uncle Nancy. Everybody stay healthy, stay happy, and stay you. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll probably be live again, but until then, talk to you all later. Bye.